Alright guys, good evening. Here we are, back again. Welcome to another little late night stream. Well, we'll see. Let's it be not too small. I think I can afford 2 or 3 hours of streaming tonight. Just like something like yesterday. So, you see me in the middle of the war, playing the whole, doing the whole playthrough through the campaign, which I started at the very beginning of the war in the German port of Wilhelmshaven with a small, slow range, low weapons, Type 2. Just a small Type 2. And we went through the first weeks and months of the war, and we became rather successful, and finally we got captain of a proud Type 7. And meanwhile, it's a Type 7C that we have. It has a fairly good range, relatively high maximum speed, quite some number of torpedoes, so pretty nice loadout actually. And after having finished this Black Pit mid-Atlantic set of missions, now this is the first time that we go for missions on the other side of the Atlantic. At the moment we are taking part in the Operation Paukenschlag, Drumbeat called in the game. And this was the very first time that we made use of a milk cow, refueled, and then, all the way over the Atlantic to refuel and get some more food, and then we went into our patrol area and by hydrophone picked up a target, and that's actually what it is. So these guys we are following at the moment, and I wonder if I should do one more hydrophone check. Why not? We have a pretty good idea by having done several hydrophone checks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 positions which we took with the hydrophone, and that gives us a reliable extrapolation of their course and quite a good interpolation of their speed. Seems to be something like 8 knots, I would say. So we are already in visible range. Distance probably something like 6 miles. Somewhere there. Already without binocular we see the smoke columns there. We are a bit still on starboard side of their course. Let's get the captain to the bridge and take a look with the binoculars. There he is. First glimpse, what is this? That looks pretty weird. Are they already hull up? Can't really believe that. It's just an incredibly dark smoke colored pretty unusual. I think either this is something that came with an update, or it is because we are going further into the war that the smoke color... Okay, so now they seem to dissolve. They change. That's interesting. Yeah, my plan now is to get right in front of that convoy and dive and let them run across me. So this is for sure, this is an escort. But these guys moving nicely in a row, these guys moving nicely in a row, and these guys as well. They are, that's pretty sure, lines of merchantmen. But yeah, since we are already more than 2 years in the war, meanwhile things have changed and the escorts used to be heavily guarded. So if you have such a convoy here, you could well expect them to be escorted by something like 10 or more escorts being distributed evenly all around the convoy in a circle, so that there is really a pretty close mesh and pretty hard for us to slip through that mesh into the center of the convoy. Now, yeah, we are going flank speed. Battery capacity is... Yeah, let's go to cruise speed, because at flank speed we can't reload. We have no power resources left to reload the batteries. And now at forward 3 cruise speed we have the maximum load rate for the batteries. Discipline is alright, still going up. Still almost 90% of fuel. Yeah, we refueled at the milk cow. So this is these kind of large, bulky submarines, long-range submarines, which actually are there sneakily cruising all over the world supplying German submarines. And this is the first time since I played the game that I managed to achieve this, to have one milk cow available. Pretty amazing. So it starts raining. That should affect visibility a bit. If we look at the time, it's 1:15, so it's still middle of the day, so it looks like this is gonna be a perfect day attack. And now you see there are these columns of merchantmen, and while they line up in a row, we actually know that we are moving right in front of that row, right in front of the keel line of them. So let's take a look. Mr. Schneider is busy doing the maintenance of the torpedoes. That's good. So probably he's working on that one. What about the stern torpedoes? I sometimes forget to care for them, but this one is rather well maintained. Torpedo type 1. So Guy, why not right away? Yeah, well, it will still take quite some time, so I don't have to hurry about the maintenance at the moment, because we will be moving for sure for more than half an hour until we actually get into action and into firing position. Bilge. Yeah, let's turn on the pump briefly to finally clear the bilge. And what about the galley? Yeah, we can go like that. Fish is almost out. Yeah, actually we had an incident all the stores that we had of fish, they grew moldy, and I had to throw them overboard. Yeah, but as we could resupply at the Milk Cow submarine, we were able to level that. Yeah, vision range should be reduced now that we have that rain sizzling down. Yeah, we are already on the port side of the key line of these. So it looks like we are nicely moving. Oh, see, now the rain grows harder and we lost eyes on them. Last position at minus 90, 100, 120, 120, 130, and minus 135 roughly. Let's put that on the map. So they must be somewhere there. And yeah, let's give it a guess. Roughly there. Distance, then estimated distance would still be 8 miles. Still pretty far away. So guys, let me mention that once more. For anybody watching on YouTube, well, I'm primarily a Twitch streamer, and I just recognized that I could do this secondary stream on YouTube, so I do it. But yeah, you see that the quality of the YouTube stream is not the best, so yeah, sorry for that. But being an amateur streamer, I just can't do it better, and if you want to see the good stream, come to Twitch. I don't know if they're gonna ban me sooner or later when I repeat this. I mean, the guys from YouTube banning me. Well, I don't know. My heart actually goes with the streaming on Twitch. Yeah, what's the status? Battery is not yet fully charged, but we got quite a bit of charge. We went from, what was it? I think it was 89, right? I'm not quite sure what it was, but it's going up steadily. Such shitty weather, look at that. Yeah, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Well, I would say 3 columns and a few scattered ships here and here. Which, yeah, the scattered ships might well be escorts. Hard to tell. Yeah, if we are in between this column and that column, I think we're fine. So this now might be the right time to turn around. What's their spread? So here they are at minus 150, I would say. Something like that. And on the other side, other end on the convoy is at 130. Like that. And yeah, it somehow looks like they have changed course actually. Yeah, but they not necessarily, it doesn't mean that they are moving in a keel line. Yeah, come on, let's do one final hydrophone check. And mark the positions of all these guys. Good evening. See that the number of watches is going up. Nice to have you in. Yeah, not checking the names, just see the numbers, so you can rest assured that you're anonymous if you want to stay anonymous. Perfectly fine if you just watch. But of course, if you might consider to drop a note in the chat, or even give me a follow, that would be much appreciated. Yeah, that's what I do this for. I mean, not for the follows or something, but yeah, mainly for the chatting. Now, here we are. Mm-hmm. Okay. Convoy 02, was it? Wasn't it?
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
50 Meter.
Is this really all we get?
Aktuelle Tiefe 45 Meter.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
Yeah, let's do some time acceleration. Yeah, the standard procedure for hydrophone check brings the boat down to 50 meters if the depth allows it. And then we stop the engines, the crew stops the engines, and Mr. Preen or Mr. Hinrich are doing thorough listening for something like 5 minutes. And as we know, sound propagates for enormous distances underwater. So in these, we have 15 knots and it's raining, so we might have a bit of a reduced range. Yeah, we have, but it's still alright. I mean, we are just going for this close by set of contacts. But yeah, we see it. When it's clear weather and, well, I mean, no rain and no wind, then the hydrophone range would be up to 90 miles, and now it is reduced to less than 70. That's always interesting to see that the simulation is actually not that complex and heating this stuff. Yeah, again, sorry guys on YouTube. I'm just doing a dual stream, and my secondary stream I put onto YouTube. My primary stream is on Twitch. And yeah, well, I have the possibility to do this secondary stream, so I do it. Although, as you see, it's not the best quality, yeah, having that small frame. Yeah, sorry guys, that's how it is.
Anblasen.
Okay, we go back to the surface.
Aktuelle Tiefe 40 Meter.
Let's just hope that we are not too close already. There we are approaching the surface.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
And that's them. Yeah, 95% of battery capacity, that's just fine. Air quality is going up. Degrees. Yeah, it's weird. If you look at the formation, it looks like they're even moving more northerly than towards my position. So I'm a bit undecisive, to be honest.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Yeah, let's get closer for now and let's stay on the surface for a while so that we can actually recharge the batteries. Yeah, the diesel compressor is running at the moment. That takes a bit additional fuel. So that's these guys. Yeah, we dove. And whenever you get back to the surface, you have to blow the tanks to empty them with compressed air. And yeah, after each dive, you have to replenish to top off the compressed air flasks. And that's what's going on right now at the moment. So we have on that large submarine here, we do have an electric compressor as well as a diesel compressor, and usually the crew turns on both to have the full pressure back onto the flasks as soon as possible. Engines. Yeah, we are heading more or less straight for these guys, which is fine. Let's give it a save for now. And yeah, let's accelerate time just a bit, carefully. Yeah, they are zigzagging, see? So right now they have changed their course again. They are heavily zigzagging.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
That's pretty amazing. I don't know. I just don't know what to make out of these smoke column signatures. Hi, Aquising. Good evening. How are you doing? Yeah, it looks a bit weird. So, all the time it looks like they are moving straight towards me, but from all the hydrophone checks that I did before, it said that they are moving that course and not this one. So I am a bit confused, I have to admit, but let's see. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, my day was all right, so I could sleep a little bit longer. We had a big meeting with colleagues in the afternoon, which was, well, I would say it was surprisingly okay. yeah, a lot of traffic on the way back home, so I got right into the middle of the rush hour. And yeah, just since something like 3 weeks, it's just a hell when you get into the rush hour. It's fucking hell on the road at the moment. That's maybe because around here, this is the season where just nobody goes to holiday. No school holidays, and all the people without children also don't feel the urge to go for a holiday just something like 2 months before Christmas. And so the roads are packed. Yeah, but sorry, I start complaining. I don't want to complain. I'm fine. That was your question. How am I? And I'm fine. I'm pretty relaxed. And yeah, as I said, my day was all right. And yeah, I do have to spend quite some time in the car for getting to my job and back, but since a while I'm pretty fine with it because yeah, I use the time. Yeah. Spotify actually helps me since I discovered that I can do Spotify in my car with this kind of entertainment system that I have there. Yeah, so I don't have a luxury car, but meanwhile you have these things just almost standard in just any car. I bought it used. It was something like a year old when I bought it, 2 years, 1.5 years ago, and yeah, it just had this stuff built in. And meanwhile, I pretty much enjoy it. So you can hear podcasts, you can hear audiobooks, music. Yeah, particularly the podcasts and the audiobooks. That's something that I do a lot lately. And so I don't have this feeling anymore that all this driving by car is completely wasted time. But yeah, I'm pretty fine with it. Yeah, for me it's 50 minutes under good conditions. And in the last weeks, when I really had a bad time slot and ran into the rush hour, it went up to something 1.5 hour. In the morning, I usually, manage to do it. Either I go very early before the rush hour, or I go late after the rush hour. But in the evening, I often got into the rush hour in the last 2-3 weeks. And then it's well more than 1 hour, to put it like that. Yeah, 35 minutes is perfectly fine. And yeah, what I do is it's pretty much at the edge. So 50 minutes, for me it's okay, and particularly now that I really use that time. Yeah, since a while I discovered a wonderful podcast about, the name of the podcast that I hear a lot, and they publish it weekly. It is 1001 Album Complaints, and that's pretty nice. It's something like 4 or 5 guys, I think. Yeah, they are at an age of something like 40 or something, and they know each other since school, and I think they made music together and things, and they are actually picking music albums, from a list from a, I think, rather popular book, which is 1001 albums you must have heard, rock albums you must have heard before you die, or rock and pop. And they actually randomly pick out of these albums and then make a 1 hour discussion whether it is really, in their opinion, that you have to have heard it before you die. Yeah, and they make a bit of fun out of it. Yeah, is it? I mean, I think you don't have an issue with snow and things, have you? So, even at the place where I am here, we don't get much snow in winter. Well, maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe you do have some elevated... it's okay, it's more about the visibility here. Yeah, actually today we had the first fog, so I was pretty late on my way. I went to work this morning. I was sitting in my car at something like 9 or 9:30, and there was still fog around. Nice atmosphere, actually.
Kurs setzen.
Yeah, but it was just very slight fog, so not much of a problem. But still, the first fog that I ran into this autumn. Okay, yep. Yeah, I even couldn't quite tell how it is around here. In spring as well, but my gut feeling would say that we have more fog in autumn around here. But that's completely unconfirmed. It's just kind of a gut feeling. Okay, now. I think.
Kurs setzen.
Okay, batteries are 100%, so let's go for periscope depth.
Seerohrtiefe.
Let's take no risks. Okay, alright. Yeah. Yeah, here in this part of Germany where I live, we usually don't have any snow. It's very, very extraordinary. It might be that over the winter we just have something like a few days of snow, and if it snows heavily, usually the snow melts away just within something like 2 or 3 days. Oh yeah, depends. I mean, from the point of view of a commuter driving car, I don't like snow as well. I still like to drive on snow, but
Wir sind auf Seerohrtiefe.
well, then you have this situation that you never know whether you have ice. And ice is really treacherous. Snow you can handle as somehow in a car, but ice is pretty much a problem, I think. Yeah, on the other hand, when I'm not around with the car and if I would just be able to hike the countryside, then I like snow pretty much. So when I was living in southern Germany, I did some Nordic skiing now and then. And yeah, we still go for southern Germany or to Austria for skiing in winter. Although, yeah, well, I mean, downhill is great, but I must admit that I don't quite like it anymore. I pretty much like this kind of meditation thing, this meditational mood that you get in when you do Nordic skiing. In the silence of a snowy world. Yep, but when I'm just at home and have my regular daily routine, then snow is more of a nuisance. How would you pronounce that one? If you know what I mean. I mean, it's something I don't need in daily life. So now here we are. I think at the moment I can stretch the periscope up as far as I want. Not much risk to be taken. Yeah, with the binocular I already saw masts of a large merchant ship, but now I don't see it anymore. On the one hand, well, because we are deeper than up there, when we are surfaced up there on the conning tower, and on the other hand, yeah, the magnification of the periscope is less. That's just the point. So what about the hydrophone?
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, the weather is deteriorating. While a few minutes ago we still were only with 15 knots, now we are up to 19 knots. And when we started the stream, it wasn't yet raining, and the rain started, and it became harder and harder. So definitely we are sailing into a weather change.
Herr Kaloy?
I don't get any hydrophone contact. Which is a bit weird, isn't it? Guys. anything. $280, come on. That's pretty weird that we don't hear any contacts from that direction.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Okay, so it's not too bad when we have worst. I mean, I don't need nighttime. I'm pretty bad in night attacks when we have no vision. But reduced visibility is pretty good for us, so we can still figure out these huge merchantman targets, but they have much less chance to spot, for example, our periscope.
Kurs setzen.
Yeah, let's go for them. So now, Mr. Grade, would you be so kind and help the hands with depth keeping? So now Mr. Grade is gonna assist them, these two guys, so that we make sure we wouldn't breach the surface. Ooh, the gyro compass is turned off. That's weird. Well, however,
Alarm! Konvoi in Sicht! Peilung! 10 Grad!
Zeigen, wozu ein U-Boot in der Lage ist.
yeah, guys, it's alright. It's alright.
2 gewartet.
Quiet, quiet, guys. You can step away from battle stations.
Alarm beenden!
But let's do solid running.
Ruhe im Boot!
Let's close the bulkheads for now. And here, this is. It's a merchantman, isn't it? And its masts up by now. Any other ships where we already have masts up? No, not really. Not really. Let's keep an eye on these guys. Okay, now I have to do the maintenance manually. So, tube 3 needs maintenance. Yeah, when we are on Schleichfahrt, on silent running, the automatic workflow for maintenance is stopped. Sorry.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
What is this? What do we see there? Maybe that's the escorts that we see there. Hey, come on, go away with your cheap views. Sorry, weight loss. So, hey, nice to have you in. Sorry for that greeting. You just came in, or at least you appeared here on my screen just at the same time like that. Cheap viewers guy. Yeah, glad to have you in. How was your day? Hey, Black Fox! Shooting ducks in a pond. Well, at least these ducks, they just can't fly away. Black Fox, good evening. Nice to have you in. Well, at your place it's not yet evening, I guess. But yeah, nevertheless, have a good day and nice to have you. How are you doing? How was your week so far? Yep. Alright, yeah, it's roughly 4 o'clock. And here it's 1 o'clock at night. Yeah, yep. Yeah, around here actually, I mean in real life, the weather was pretty alright today. Pretty sunny. But yeah, the days are getting shorter. And yeah, somehow I mentally get prepared for this cozy time. Okay, so at your place at that time you really start to get snow, yeah? Yeah, I just told the other guys that around here, this part of Germany where I live is pretty warm. So this is that area where there is also wine being grown. So this is probably one of the warmest regions of Germany. From October to April, yep. Yep. Yeah, pretty different. I'm living more or less in the lowlands, in the western part of Germany. Yeah, Frankfurt area. If you go a bit further southwest, there are parts which are even warmer. Yes. Yeah, we always hope. Since I was a child, I was always hoping for snow on Christmas, but that was always so very rare at the places where I have been living all my life. Yep, same for me. I would venture to say that I never had a white Christmas. Maybe something like after Christmas, right between Christmas and New Year, that then it started to snow, maybe, but yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, there is this obviously enormously large ship, or maybe it's just ahead of all the others. Bit surprised that I see all these masts there, but I think I saw more. Okay, there is already almost hull up, so this is a military man. This is a man of war, 100%. Escort. For the others, I'm not yet sure. So there I might see an escort in front, and behind in the background a merchantman. That's my guess. Yeah, on the Zugspitze, yeah. Yes. Yeah. So what I am doing at the moment in the game is, yeah, you see, I am out of the Canadian coast, in the offing of the Canadian coast, and yeah, here I had positioned a milk cow. So after I did all the journey across the Atlantic, I refueled and refooded, restocked at the milk cow, and went to my patrol area. And after not too long time doing a hydrophone check, I recognized this convoy here, and as you see, I was now trying to get ahead of them, and right now I positioned myself right in front of their course. Having done several hydrophone checks, should give me quite a good extrapolation of their course and their speed. Hey, yeah, please don't take it personal, Black Fox. My aim is not changing history. My aim is just kind of, yeah, doing an immersive dive into this amazing technology of a submarine. Yeah, yeah, I know, I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, with something like 9 hours of time deviation to Germany. Yeah. Do I remember right that you're living somewhere, well, not quite at the coast, but a little bit inland, something like to the hinterland of the coast, don't you? I mean, of the western coast. Yeah, Type X, yeah. How long do we still have to wait for the DLC for the Type 9? Yeah, that's what the whole community actually is waiting for. Yeah, yeah. Pretty nice area. So I actually never managed to get, well, I actually went to North America twice, but just job-wise. And I think I already have managed it that the uncle of my wife is living in Quebec. And yeah, up to now we never actually managed to visit him. And next year in the summer holidays, pretty much looks like that again. Yeah, last year or this year we actually took 3 weeks of summer holiday, which all the years before I never managed job-wise to do. And yeah, we took the opportunity to go for Ireland, but for a trip to Canada we would actually need something like 4 weeks, and next year I'm definitely not gonna be able to take 4 weeks of holiday in a row. I mean, but I would love so much, yeah, particularly this area. I mean, the hinterland of Vancouver, but also the coast with all these. I think the Norwegians would call it Skjæren, or these islands off the coast. Years ago, I frequently played a flight simulator. X-Flight, actually, it was, and it had some DLCs or mods which improved that area, and I loved to cruise across that Vancouver area and further to the north, the coastline of Canada. So at least in-game, I had been there. I was flying this wonderful two-prop, two-engine seaplane, the Goose. That was also some mod that somebody programmed. Beautiful plane. Wonderful to cruise the western coast of Canada. Yeah, but as I said, never been there in real life, which is a pity. Yeah, the weather is deteriorating more and more, and the wind speed is now up to 21 knots. More and more rain pouring down, thunderstorm going. So this, on the one hand, this might camouflage our periscope, but on the other hand, there is this constant risk that we breach the surface in the waves and get being spotted by the escorts, which are aplenty there. By the way, more people in the stream. That's just wonderful to see. Welcome, guys, whoever you are. If you like, participate in the chat. Don't hesitate if you feel that this is just old, well, acquaintances doing the chat. Well, don't hesitate to join. Always welcome. Always love to hear where you're from or what your experience with the game is. Or maybe you're a completely newbie and just want to see how it works, something like that. Exactly. We don't bite. But on the other hand, if you just want to watch silently and lurk, that's perfectly fine, just as well. Even just seeing the number of watches going up is a great satisfaction for me, but, well, even more satisfaction if we have these kind of nice chats as we used to have here. So this seems to be either the largest or the closest ship. Can't quite figure out what it is, to be honest. Yeah. And I hope only if they like you. So that arises the suspicion, weight loss, that in real life you're kind of a vampire. It is, yeah. They become larger and larger when you venture into the war. You see, I am in mid-April of 1942, and yeah, the convoys become larger and larger, and the escorts become larger and larger just as well. So for this convoy, I would expect that there might well be something like 10 escorts circling around, building a close circle, close mesh around that convoy, which is pretty hard to get through sneakily. So I'm again doing my tactics, trying to infiltrate, sneakily get into the middle of the convoy, and then start shooting my torpedoes. Oh yeah, okay, alright. I'm not quite sure if I completely had finished them. I had done a few of them. I think, is this parts of the Atlantic Theater missions? So you see that I haven't yet finished the Atlantic Theater completely. Maybe sooner or later I'm gonna have to do it. But that was exactly these kind of missions. But yeah, you might also get them not in the context of the this Atlantic theater operations. Sometimes you just get missions which have no relation to any of these large-scale operations. But yeah, the reward actually is higher when you go for them. Yeah, alright. Yeah, but still fine. I mean, it took me a while. I have been playing the game for 5 years, and now this is the very first time that I get so far into the game that I even managed to get a milk cow from headquarters. By the way, let's check. Yeah, we don't get any hydrophone contacts. Don't know why. Maybe because of the bad weather up there. 21 knots of wind speed. Yeah, that's quite incredible, actually. Hey, this is also two merchantmen. This guy and that guy. We see the masts. Pretty sure these are merchantmen, but it might well be that these two guys there are escorts. This guy is an escort. So let's get a little bit more south. Yeah, or even more. The last convoy actions that we had were even more, but well, something like that, but maybe not just 2, but maybe 3 or 4 in front and 2 or 3 on each side, and also a few on the back. So I really ran into convoys which had more than 10, well, something like 13 escorts. You could even get some in the middle, yeah. I think I didn't have that yet. But I pretty much like that the game evolves like that. That you can really see and feel how the challenges become harder and how the enemy is going through a learning curve. I don't know, this is, yeah, okay. That guy is pretty sure that guy is an escort. These two guys are merchants. These two guys, there might also be at least one of these might be an escort. So now the question is, would I go for that one? Or one of those two guys there? Yeah, from the size, this one looks closer, but also, yeah, it might just be that this one is larger. And I'm a bit confused by what I see there. I still fear that I see some overlap, that there is an escort. This bulky thing there is an escort in front, and that there is that merchantman behind. Yeah, the more I look at that convoy, I think I see two merged silhouettes there. One being an escort, which is already pretty close, and the other being a merchantman trailing behind. So I think it was a good idea to turn my course a little bit more south. Yeah, if I look at the extrapolation that I did from my reckonings with the hydrophone checks, they should be coming straight for me. But I think at the moment, it might be that they are doing some kind of large-scale zigzagging. So at the moment, my gut feeling is that they are more going something like south of me. But I just can't get any hydrophone reading, probably due to the bad weather. Yeah, yes. Yeah, so you play also on higher difficulty level, yeah, where you have to mark the targets on the map by yourself, right? Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I mean, if somebody's new in the game, maybe I wouldn't recommend to start like that, but for me, it gives perfect immersion to really do these figures on the map. That really gives me the feeling like, yeah, being the captain. I might repeat myself, but what I also love would be an additional difficulty level where you wouldn't even see your own boat on the map. Yeah, that wouldn't be easy. You really had to think about how to implement it. But what I mean is that you somehow have to figure out where you are on the map with the sextant and dead reckoning. Yeah, I'm at periscope depth. I just something like half an hour ago I went to 50 meters and then I still got some reading. So at 50 meters I got a contact. The last contact that I got was this one here. They're just not separating. They're sticking together, these guys, where I thought they are two contacts. Maybe they are just one. Okay, yeah, they say the crew suggests that this is a tanker. And that was already my guess just as well. With a pretty large something chimney on the back. Would it be? So this is the largest, the T2 tanker, right? Might it be a T2? I just don't see this building on the middle. Oh yeah, the ads, yeah. So not quite sure if it is this one, maybe not. Yeah. I think so. I think it's a tanker. But yeah, it might even be that large one. Problem is, if it is the large one, having it in the periscope so large doesn't mean that it is close, but it might be pretty far behind the other ships, so it might be hard to reach without being detected. But, well, let's see. Let's keep our target tracking focused on that one for now. yeah, good point. Yeah, what I could do is I could go into the cinematic view, but at these stages I really try to avoid it. Now I could zoom in on them, but let's not do it right now. I think it would take away a bit of the immersion. Sink the dinghy. I thought Black Fox had the idea of helping us with the dinghy, doing some recon, right? So please don't sink the dinghy or Black Fox. Yeah. Okay, so you went through, you did a complete playthrough through Silent Hunter, yeah. So since when are you actually digging deep into U-Boat? I remember that you mentioned that you were still playing Silent Hunter not too long ago. And yes. yeah. yeah. I really fell in love with U-Boat. And I as well enjoy it more than Silent Hunter. But I have to admit that it's quite a few years ago that I did play Silent Hunter the last time. Oh wow, that's tough when you just yeah, respect. Let's give it a save. Better safe than sorry. There are a few people streaming U-Boat, and they do it in a permadeath mode. So they really play it like when they die and start a new game, which is also pretty tough. Yeah, okay. So then, yeah, you just need some kind of report when weird things happen. Yeah, that's quite good when you and your wife are in phase about these kind of computer games. I have to admit that my wife has actually no any interest in computer games. Yeah, that's one reason why I do the late night streams. So I do them when she and the kids actually went to bed. Yeah, I never did it in this detail when I played Silent Hunter. I never actually went into the mode where I had to decipher things with the Enigma machine. Yeah, the Enigma, it always reminds me of that poor British mathematician who actually saved them by deciphering the code, and yeah, later they treated him so bad. Hey, thank you very much. That's great. So there is still this guy, which is probably an escort. And these two guys there. So they might be closer. They are probably much smaller than this large tanker. Still, it would be so nice to actually kill the tanker. But it is pretty far away still. Yeah, we will see. Let's go further in. Yeah, we are just going on very slowest speed. Yes, yep. And so I guess that at least one of these two here is an escort. That guy is an escort, I'm pretty sure. These two guys are transports. Hey Paul, nice to have you in. Good evening. Well, evening here. Is it still afternoon at your place? Late afternoon, I guess. Nice to have you in. How are you doing? How was your day? So you see us just going into action. Don't know, is this an escort? Not quite sure, but yeah, can't tell. This guy for sure is an escort. And it is already. Hey Paul, sorry, yeah. I mixed it up. Yes. Yeah, so we were just having a chat with Black Fox, and he is from the western coast of Canada, so that's an enormous time shift actually. Yeah, sinking this one here, that would be amazing. I think I never sank such a large tanker. Yeah, I once sank a what was it called? It was the Lord Nelson, the battleship. Yep, this one here, right? That guy is a tanker, yep. I'm pretty sure. Big one. Just not yet quite sure which one. Yeah, exactly. That guy there. I think that's a tanker. Pretty large baby. And then there are these two guys here, which are whatever ordinary merchantmen. Ah, it would be so great if I could infiltrate into the convoy. Hey Paul, I got a message which says you reached 3 stream streak 5 minutes ago. To be honest, I'm not that familiar with these special features, so I'm not quite sure what that means. I even got that before. I think a similar message I also got for aqua icing a few days ago, and maybe also for weight loss. I really don't quite know what to do with this message. Well, I mean, not what to do with it, but what it actually does mean. So does it mean that you had been watching all my last 3 streams? Is this the meaning of that one? Okay, so nice. Thank you very much. I feel very honored. At the moment, I have the gut feeling that the bad weather actually helps me to stay undetected. Let's hope that it stays like that. Yeah, the velocity of the whole convoy is roughly 8 knots. We pretty clearly got that from the hydrophone checks. That's relatively good. If you do something like 4 or 5 hydrophone checks in the row, you get quite some good average of the whole convoy speed. And yeah, determining speed with the hydrophone, that's really, sorry to say it, it's a pain in the ass. I never actually managed to reliably determine the speed of an enemy with this tool that you have in the periscope. This kind of timing thing to count the time, how long it takes the ship to pass through. I don't know. Maybe I didn't quite understand it well enough, how it works, but yeah, come on. So it looks like the angle on bow on that ship is getting smaller and smaller, so we should be pretty well in the line of their keel. Us doing just slow speed ahead all the time. By the way, but it's a nice approach to do kind of to really do the maximum immersion, something like that. By the way, allow me to be AFK just for 1 minute for some human need. Be back in 60 seconds. back again. Thanks for your patience. Yeah, well, coffee would be nice, but I don't have the patience to brew me a coffee right now. And I have no crisps left. And yeah, well, by the way, Black Fox, as I know that you are, yeah, already since a very long time, you are a regular guest in my streams, and I think you already went to my streams back in the days when I was regularly streaming DayZ. So yeah, lately I was wondering, there was this very nice guy called Bob, and he was a regular guest also in my streams when I back in the days when I was still streaming DayZ a lot. I think you remember him, don't you? And yeah, he just didn't show up anymore, so I was worried a little bit, hoping that he's fine. And I don't know if Black Fox, if you did meet him in any other stream, or I just didn't. So for me, he just kind of vanished from the scene. And yeah, just hope that he's fine. Yeah, he was such a nice guy. It was always a pleasure to have a chat with him. He was from kind of, also more western part. I'm not from the coast, western part of the US. Oregon or something. No, also not. Little, yeah, he was also a regular guest in your stream, I think. White Loss. No, I think not. Having heard not anything of him lately. There they come. Oh, it's large. That's really a big baby. Or is it even a kind of cruiser or something? That guy there? Yeah, well, now considering it, maybe it's, if you look at it like that now, it might also just be a, yeah, but that's the perspective. Now from front, it looks more like a cruiser or a destroyer, but I think it is not. When we had another angle on them, it was more like a, yeah, transport, merchant or tanker. Okay, there we already can clearly see that mast of this guy. And these two guys here being, yeah, still clear that they are merchantmen. And this guy probably is an escort, man of war. And yeah, let's stick to the assumption that this guy actually is a, yeah, transport or tanker. 300. So the angle is 60. So let's head for that guy. Let's head straight for that guy. What do you mean by the catapult? You mean going back to the Roman Empire age. Hey, that would be great if we could really, if this bad weather really would support us getting sneakily into the center of that convoy and firing a few torpedoes on that big baby. That would just be great, but this is worrying me because this guy is definitely an escort and it looks like he is heading pretty much straight for me. Yeah, we are going lowest speed. We are doing silent running. Alarm is not yet enabled. Gyro compass is turned off to minimize our sounds. Yep. Dive planes I leave to electric. Of course I could reduce my sounds, my noise cross section by also turning off the electric dive planes, but then it would be even harder to maintain depth and better emit a bit more noise and be sure that we don't broach the surface. So now the guy is heading more or less straight for us. That's how it looks, at least. Battery is fine, 98%. So I was all the time. I was almost all the time. I was just going for small speed. So I was pretty economic about my battery usage. So it's still almost 100%. Air quality is down to 84. That often air quality is the limiting factor. Yes, yeah. Yeah, and then there is no way what you can do when you're out of energy down there. Out of electricity. No, they look pretty much like going straight for us, but yeah, you never know. They might now and then do some zigzagging. Just didn't want to get right in front of it. I just wanted to stay a little bit left or right, port or starboard. Yes, I just poured me a glass of apple cider. So, well, a cider I think usually means something which is sparkling, right? And this one here, that's the traditional Apfelwein, apple wine around here, which is not sparkling, but very nice. I mean, not around here. I'm actually living in an area where people would drink wine, but I work over to Frankfurt. Where I work, people traditionally drink this non-sparkling apple cider, which I like quite a lot, and you also get it here in the supermarkets. Yeah, as I said, it's just an hour's drive from here to Frankfurt. Well, if you're lucky, less than an hour's drive. Yeah, I actually drink it diluted with a bit of water at the moment. Yes, yeah. Yeah. Keep an eye open. So there is one escort passing by on port side. Sorry, not escort, one merchantman passing by on port side. Anymore? No. And I don't know, but my guess is always assume the worst case, and the worst case assumption, this guy there, I can't see it, but it might be an escort. What else do we have? Smoke columns. Yeah, that guy. I'm rather sure that this is an escort. And here again, this is the guy that I want to sink. I didn't quite get the point. Weight loss, what do you mean? With your comment about the down periscope. Please explain. Escort. Yeah, I don't know that one, but I guess you did mention it before. Or which one is it? Is it this kind of funny movie? Making jokes about? Okay. Alright. So is it a serious movie or is it... I remember that there is one kind of movie making a parody, making jokes of these submarine movies. Ah, yeah, that one. So it's that guy, that movie which kind of makes jokes of these kind of, yeah, standard movies, yeah. I never saw it actually. Up to now, I have to admit that my prejudice was that it might be a little bit too much of Klamauk. But if you say it's good, I'm gonna watch it. And it sounds like it would be also nice to watch it with the family. Hey, that guy is really going straight for me at the moment. Yes, so it sounds a bit like it's a movie where you have kind of 2 or 3 friends and a crate of beer with you while watching the movie, right? And then it's really good. So, as at the moment, what's... Looks like the guy is heading straight for us. Maybe I'm gonna turn my course a little bit more northward so that I finally get into a nice firing position. Let's give it a save once more. Have we? At the moment, yeah, but I would never fire on that guy from an angle like that. But yeah, okay, see. This is what I wanted to have. Escort. That guy is probably an escort, so I have to be careful. Hey? What's... Hey guys, yes, now we lost them. It's them. That might be an escort. And it's him again, so... Hey! Why don't you give me that one? So we lost the target, I have to... There we are back. I don't know, is it really this one? Let's assume it for now. That's the escort, and now it looks like they're not heading straight for us. So we can relax a bit maybe. Save the game. Let's check the status, the maintenance status of the torpedoes. Oh, they're completely unmaintained, of course, because we are on silent running. So, Mr. Schneider, please start maintaining. And I think at the moment I can also have Mr. Arles doing some maintenance. Yeah, alright, guys. So, lively, please. Make the torpedoes ready. We might get into action now, soon.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
Okay, I like this. But let's check. We might get into trouble. This guy is probably escort. So maybe I should be more careful with my periscope and hide it away for a little while. So having the periscope up all the time increases the probability that somebody spots me. So it's 35 degrees at the moment. And it is probably going like that. Let's get rid of these. Not having too much confusing stuff here. So distance, yeah, it's a guess, just a guess. And it's more than 1 mile for sure. Oh shit, I'm just not sure. I have no idea what kind of ship that is. Don't think that it's a coaster. Libertine, no. Has 3 masts. Is it this one? No, neither. come on. Pretty much looks like it is this guy here. But I don't know. I really don't know. Velocity is 8. Angle on bow at the moment would be pretty shallow. Probably something like that. Let's say 10. Hey, I really can't figure out what that guy is. Yeah, this escort is passing by pretty far away, so I think not much of a risk to get spotted. Yeah, that's my guess, that we are actually having this T2 tanker there. So I'm definitely gonna fire all 4 torpedo tubes on that one to make sure to score a few hits and sink it. So might gonna be tough to sink that big baby. I mean, to damage it, okay, but to really make it sink. Save it one more time. Or maybe I want to do a new save game. I didn't do a new save game since I started W188. Let's do that. W188. I used to start a new save for at least for each session, and I didn't do that in the beginning. Here we are. So the other 2 torpedo tubes, please maintain them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and after that somebody's gonna have to deal with the stern torpedo. Let's assume that we are correct. $5,000 and 40 degrees. Yeah, that's it. That looks pretty cool. So could be that he is there. Let's give it an X.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
So my distance to their course would be nice. I think if I go on a parallel course by now, I should be fine.
Kurs setzen.
maintenance status. Yeah, it looks alright for now. Wow. That would be really great success if I would manage to sink that guy. What else do we have? Could it be a battleship? No. Could it be an escort carrier? No. No. Fast aircraft? No. Yeah, but still it doesn't look like that one. It doesn't look like any of the ships that I have there. And it looks like they are slanting a bit. Looks like they are listing a bit. Might it be that they already got a hit from another German submarine? These things actually happen in the game. Don't you think that it looks like that this guy is listing a bit? Oh shit, that's definitely an escort, so I am gonna get into deep shit soon.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung 4, 6, 3, 0 Meter.
No, it's something like
Gegnerlage
13 degrees.
rechts. Geschwindigkeit 8 Knoten.
Okay, yeah, that's reassuring, because in real life, no, in the real view, it looks different to what you see here, right? Looks quite different. So what I would like to do at the moment, yeah, let's
Koordinaten setzen.
get into the ideal fire position and then just wait it out. I'm just afraid that this guy might come in and spot us before we get the opportunity to fire a few torpedoes onto this. Ooh, shit, that's another escort, and it is really close. So at that point, I think it would be a good idea to actually lower the periscope and to remove the guys from the air observation periscope. Yeah, I was having too much stuff up to the surface. Okay, that one looks good. well maintained. What about the other guys? A 4. Will probably still take a few minutes. And then
Alle Maschinen stopp.
stop. And Mr. Trummel, our bosun, please. Already man the torpedo calculator.
E-Motoren gesetzt.
Do we get any signal from
Lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr
the
Kapitän.
hydrophone? No. Probably we lost the target. Okay, that's them. But what about the big guy there? He comes in. 280. Ah, come on. What about the other guys? That guy is worrying me. Maybe I can do it. Maybe I can do it. Let's get the periscope down. Yeah, they come in. Hey,
Chef, 305 Grad.
guy, where are you?
Küstenchef, 290 Grad.
That's the big one. And it still takes some time. Escort. Come on, keep A Low cross section. That guy is coming in. That guy is worrying me considerably. Wow, they're really coming in. 280. They are really coming in very shallow. The other ships over there. Maybe I'm a bit too close. Maybe I'm a bit too close. Or is it not moving at all? Yeah, it is moving at all for sure. But yeah, come on. Now let's do a little bit of cinematic view. So that's the tanker. And it's not moving. It is not moving. Did it got hit? Yeah, see. It did take some damage, didn't it? So if it is not moving, shall I venture to actually... Yeah, that tanker already took some damage. So let's see that we get in for that tanker. I wonder if I should fire a few torpedoes on this large distance now already, and on that uncomfortable angle.
Küstenchef, 310 Grad. Küstenchef, 310 Grad.
Yep.
Korvette, 330 Grad.
There is somebody coming in, but not yet quite sure, but my guess is that this guy is military. Let's see if we can actually sink this guy. By the way, let me be AFK once more. Do they? They always have a bit of starboard list, but the propellers were not moving when I checked it. The propellers were not moving of that guy. And the rudder was like kind of randomly moving like it does when they are damaged. Alright guys, back again. Great that you're still there. And now that's him. That's him. It pretty much looks like it's not moving. No propeller movement. But of course, I think it's possible that they repair, isn't it? Like that after a while they might get moving on again. And if I had this something like, yeah. Let's see that we sneakily get in on them. The distance, if they were not moving, the distance would be something like 3, maybe more miles. And yeah, I have to keep up the maintenance of the torpedoes now that they're not coming in. See? So, torpedo 1. Torpedo 2, please. That's what we need now. Flank, guys. There they are. Velocity 0, as it looks like.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Geschwindigkeit 0 Knoten. 1, 3, rechts. Entfernung 1, 5, 1, 5 Meter.
So look at that. Propellers completely at rest. Very good. into the other 2, 3, and 4, and then the stern again. So this is quite some unfavorable angle for an attack. Let's go for another 5 minutes. What is the maintenance status by now? It's still alright, but somebody please do the maintenance of the stern torpedo once more. Yeah, what about the other ships? Good point. Wow. There they are.
Küstenschiff, 355
Hey, come on.
Grad.
Let's fire. So we are in a good firing position, I think. Let's give it one more save at that point.
E-Motoren besetzt.
And what's the draught? 7-1. So if I go for 7-5 in terms of draught,
Rohr 1 bewässern. Rohr 1 bewässert. Los! Rohr 2 bewässern. Los! Rohr 3 bewässern. Rohr 3 bewässern. Los! Rohr 4 bewässern. Rohr 4 bewässert. Los! Treffer! Komplett 70 Grad. Minimale Schäden.
Zerstörer, 335 Grad.
Ja. Feindliches Schiff getroffen. Feuer an Deck. Sie gehen unter.
okay, so
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
let's stay.
Tauchen auf. Und Meter.
Aktuelle Tiefe.
Okay, they're breaking apart. Maybe I was overdoing it a bit with all these torpedoes.
Kurs setzen.
So where to get out?
Kurs setzen.
30 Meter. Der Torpedo ist auf halbem Weg.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Torpedoeinschlag.
Ja.
Okay, it was 3 misses. 3 hits and 1 miss. And the 3 hits actually killed it. Actually, it was already sunk after 2 hits, obviously. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, that's right, yeah. That's the good point, that the magnetics don't care about the angle.
Aktuelle Tiefe 45 Meter.
Fort George was the name of the ship, and we completed the patrol with that one. So now the torpedo is starting to do its meandering. I was just curious what it would do. Yeah, that would be just too much of good lucky coincidence if I would hit that guy now. Is this possible that I am so lucky? Maybe it's just too deep. Ah, okay, it went underneath because that guy had a more shallow draft. Ah, that's the risk. That's the risk. So. Let's get the guys to battle station.
Aktuelle Tiefe 100 Meter.
Yeah, all right. Look, they all stopped. Yep. They all stopped by now. Yeah, now we have to admit that this is kind of a bug. But at least the escorts are moving. Hey, but it looks like the number of escorts is pretty limited. Nah, no, it is not. Now it's gonna get tough. Now it's gonna get tough to get away. Quite a few escorts around. So what's the depth around here? Yeah, it's fathomless, unfathomable depths underneath us. Yeah, but nice action anyway. We did sink the guy.
Etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Verstanden, Herr Kommandant.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Verstanden. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Verloy.
Let's get a bit deeper to 120.
Tauchen auf 120 Meter.
Propellers detected, yeah, well.
105 Meter.
Hey, Black Fox, yeah. Well, I mean, now there was this bug that the guys were not moving, and so that proved your saying true in the beginning. Yes. Yeah, but the escort is still mobile, and they are looking for me, yeah.
110 Meter.
Yeah, but you don't know. I mean, maybe the escorts feel safe. I mean, the convoys still feel safe close to the US coast, to the Canadian coast. And maybe they just waited there for further orders or something. And so I was lucky to find them there stationary before they start their journey across the pond. Yep. Yeah, you're right, Black Fox, that always helps. But on the other hand, I want to get away from the convoy because sooner or later the escorts is gonna stick to their convoy. So hide in the baffles of a freighter helps temporarily. But right now, let's just try to straight head out of this one here. And as all the freighters are not moving, they wouldn't create any distorting noise. Let's just get out. Yeah, let's save. Did I save already since that success? I think I didn't. And fingers crossed that we get out. Yeah, that's right. As long as you're just under the freighter, they can't. That's completely right. Yeah, but sooner or later you have to get away, or they give up when they kind of step away from their alarm situation. Yeah, so you're right. But at the moment, my gut feeling tells me that we get away like that. Hey guys, I just saw that in my bag of crisps from yesterday that there is some 3 or 4 crisps left, so let me do that one. No, I haven't. What is it? What would you call it in German, actually? Pork rinds? Yeah, good point. So I was very responsible yesterday, not completely finishing my bag of crisps.
Aktuelle Tiefe 120 Meter.
Yeah, call me mad. I know, Schweinekrusten. Don't know that one. Yeah, I wish I had a few more crisps, because now I'm running out of crisps. Into the dinghy, yeah. Yeah, no crisps anymore. I think I have a few of these small little salty pretzels up there. But right now I'm too lazy to pause again and get up and get them. So the crew said that we were detected, but it doesn't always mean that we actually are in trouble.
Wasserbomben.
Oh, come on, shit. Change course and get deeper. just to be on the safe side.
Auf 150 Meter.
Ah, yeah. Wow, wow, wow. They are getting after us. I could imagine that this is pretty tasty, yeah.
125 Meter.
And it's less hydrocarbons, isn't it? Well, they are dropping. They are dropping hard on us. But up to now we are lucky. Yeah, now that we are that deep and go in flank speed, we are taking quite a lot of water by the drive shaft and other gaskets. But yeah, it's not dramatic, but you have to keep that in mind. Let's... Ah, shit.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Let's reduce speed again. Oh shit, again.
Panik. Konzentriert euch auf eure Aufgabe. Tauchen auf 120 Meter.
Yeah, I'm still underneath the convoy. The convoy must be something like there are a few ships here and more ships there, so the convoy is somewhere above me like that.
Aktuelle Tiefe 140 Meter.
Battery is still pretty full. Air quality is 62%. That's always the limiting factor. But I do have quite some potassium absorbers actually.
Aktuelle Tiefe 120 Meter.
Another save. Yeah, that's my strategy, to evade
15 Meter.
a chase. Go in slow speed, and then as soon as the escort actually closes in and starts dropping, go to flank speed and do a 90 degrees change of course. And by doing this several times, getting rid of these guys.
120 Meter. Meter.
Oh yeah, my saving game. It's just yeah. If you look back down, I also have other. So that was my first naming convention here, just numbering. And then I started a new game, and to actually make clear which ones are the save games from the new game, I just put the W in front. To be honest, I don't quite remember why I did put the W in front. So it's just numbering. W for the new game and numbering. Yeah, I would never think that I go far back. Loading a very old game, it's more like doing regular saves just in case that something very stupid happens, like a game crash or me wrecking the boat completely. But usually I try to avoid reloads and try to just survive and carry on playing, even if bad things happen to me, like crewmates dying or torpedoes missing. Usually I try to just play on then. To keep it a bit realistic. Hey, sounds like there is one ship coming up again. Or having crisps from yesterday left over. Hey, shut up, Mike. What is this? Is it a movie quote or? Yes, it's perfectly fine. Or are you just shouting at yourself? Yeah, perfectly fine. Oh, yeah. Okay, alright. Okay, again. Depth charts. Let's get back down to 50 meters. 150 meters. Shut up, Wesley. Wesley? If you say Wesley, I think about Wesley Crusher, the most hated character in Star Trek. Okay, alright, yeah.
135 Meter.
They're dropping a lot of stuff. Yeah, one crispy's back into the tube. Yeah, I haven't reloaded them yet because I'm on silent running, so there is space for crisps in the tubes at the moment. Okay, did we evade? Let's reduce speed and let's get back up to 120. And what do we have here? Yeah, okay, we are still below 100 liters in the bilge. Yeah, let them.
140 Meter.
Are they? Yeah, I don't know. I pretty much like the good old, well, Star Trek Next Generation with Jean-Luc Picard. I pretty much like that.
Aktuelle
And I've also been watching Star Trek Voyager a lot back then. And yeah, well, didn't quite like it. I really loved Captain Picard. And then there was this about the space station. What was it? Deep Space Nine, right? That was also pretty nice. I quite liked that one. Somehow. I think first on the list for me would be Star Trek Next Generation with Jean-Luc Picard. And second on the list would be Deep Space Nine. And then, I'm not quite sure, so the Voyager episodes, they did not quite imprint onto my memory. So I'm thinking about what would I like better, the Star Trek Voyager or the old original Star Trek with Captain Kirk. Yeah, these old ones, they are still a bit of fun to watch. Yeah, I think I also didn't, but I watched quite a lot of them. Yeah, I think Voyager is also okay, but I just would rank it after Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. And all the time, my favorite character is Chief O'Brien. I don't know. What about you? What's your favorite character? I mean, of course, I love Captain Picard. And if you ask me who is second on my ranking, it would be Chief O'Brien. Who is that? Help me. You have to help me. Who was Malcolm Reed? I have to admit that I don't remember it. I also like the character of Q. Always reoccurring, by the way. But to be honest, Malcolm Reed, I don't remember that guy. Tactical officer. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell, I have to admit. Maybe we can build a moat around the station. So, I always only watched them in German, I have to admit. And there was this legendary 10 vorne. 10 forward? How was it called? How was it called in the original? This kind of bar that they had where they used to meet. 10 forward? Yeah, okay, yep. Yeah, they're still chasing us. They are still on us, but they have dropped so many depth charges. They might run out of it. And that's also, I mean, it's just a detail, but tiny detail. But this is also nice that they actually can run out of depth charges, so that this is heated in the simulation, that they just have a limited number of depth charges, and after they've dropped them all, they just can't go after you anymore. Except you do the mistake and get to the surface and they start firing at you with the deck guns. Yeah, the ballast tank's being filled, of course. We don't have any strain and stress yet. The discipline level is pretty high with 99% still. Battery capacity is fine. Well, air quality 60%. As usual, air quality would probably be the first limiting factor. So if I guess that the most hated character in Star Trek Next Generation probably was Wesley Crusher, what would you guess would be the second most hated character in Next Generation? I do have a clear guess about that, by the way. Almost 100 liters in the bilge. That's a bit, but not yet affecting our buoyancy. Who was that? Who was that? You have to help me. Guinan? Was it that kind of smart woman who always had kind of, smart tips for everybody? I just have a very faint. The black woman in 10 forward. Yeah, okay. So it did ring a bell and it looks like I was pretty alright, but, well, I don't have her in mind as being too bad. My guess would have been the first lieutenant. Lieutenant William, what was his name? Come on. Just don't forget. Hey, was it Whoopi Goldberg? Yeah. Riker, yeah. I mean, Lieutenant Commander Riker, was it? No, he was Commander, right? I don't know. I kind of, he always felt a bit, to me personally, he always felt like a bit of a smart ass commander, yeah. Yep, that was the name of the actor, yeah. I don't know. It wasn't like that I hated Commander Riker, but somehow he always looked a bit pale to me, in contrast to the captain. And I was always wondering what Counselor Troy actually liked about him. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, talking about it, I just some time ago I bought, I think, the first series of Next Generation. Wanted to watch it, at least with my son, but I just couldn't, make him love it. So at one point I'm gonna have to watch through it again, just on my own. Yeah, Troy. I don't remember that episode. I have to remember. What was it about the shrink? It's so long ago that I've been watching these. I mean, I'm pretty embarrassed to admit it, but it is. I could even say it's centuries ago that I actually watched them. Yeah, okay, that's what you mean, yep. Well, obviously, in this far future, far from now future, people thought that it might be a good idea to have that guy on the bridge. To have this kind of guy on the bridge. Yeah, she wasn't my favorite character, but well, from my point of view, I would say she was okay-ish for me. But maybe now and then at the edge, yeah. It's a utopia, not a dystopia. Yep, that's right. That's right. Yeah, at the moment we can't find out the actual tonnage. Well, by the way, we can. So if we look at this one here now, so we are to 21 in total. So that ship was not quite that large. It was not 21,000 tons, but it must have been something like 15,000 tons because I already had 7,000 tons there. Yes, that's right. So that was a bit inconsistent, right? Yeah, yep. But yeah, I always felt the same about that. Like having Wesley Crusher on the bridge all the time, while on the other hand, they kind of, yeah, showed that Jean-Luc Picard was pretty awkward about children, kids, youths. I pretty much liked how he played it, but at that point it was not quite consistent, I admit. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I always liked that kind of. Okay, the Doctor, yeah. Yeah, I think there was something between the Doctor and the Captain, wasn't it? So sometimes I thought it might also have been something like close to a love affair, a past love affair or something. Also, well, I think wasn't it a story like that? Picard was a very, very close friend of the late husband of Dr. Crusher, something like that. Okay, let's be alerted. Yeah, and the number of people watching is dropping. So not everybody is probably interested in this kind of chore that we're going through to get away from the escorts and on our private discussion on Star Trek. Yeah, but I loved it back then. Now that we talk about it, I should really start watching these episodes again. Yeah, there is always these times over the week now and then when I'm watching things without the family, but actually one series, pretty old one, but I did the complete walkthrough through this series. That was Breaking Bad, which I was watching on my own without the family, and I pretty much liked it. And at the moment I am watching this series about Star Trek Enterprise. That's this new one, yeah. It crossed my mind again now and then when I was kind of surfing through what they have. Yeah, so you recommend it, so I will check it. Well, new, I don't know. I mean, at least it's not 20 years old, right? That's what you mean. I don't know. From what time is it? Which one? So maybe I didn't quite get what you mean. So which one? Star Trek Enterprise? I mean, there was the original Star Trek with Captain Kirk, then there was the Star Trek Next Generation, then there was Star Trek Voyager, then there was Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and and when? So, and was it something like after Deep Space Nine they did Star Trek Enterprise? I never recognized that one, I have to admit. I actually did think that it was something recent, being done by Amazon or something. Okay, yeah, you see, so I got lost. There were quite a few years, maybe something like 10 years, when I just didn't have any TV and was completely out of these things. Okay, no, I never watched it. Deep Space Nine I had been watching, and I think after that was the time when I actually went out of linear TV. Okay, yeah, not too bad about the bilge. Never got these. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So for many years I wasn't watching any TV. Well, and also today I'm actually not watching TV, but I'm more at least watching the serious stuff that you get now and then. for the Federation before Kirk, okay. Yeah, wasted potential. Maybe I'm gonna check it. I'm a big fan of science fiction genre. So, I really love science fiction, but on the other hand, science fiction movies are pretty bad now and then. So, I've been watching so many science fiction movies just because I love science fiction, and finally finished the movie and said, okay, this was just another piece of bullshit. Yeah, but if you say that's worth giving it a try, I'm gonna check it. Yeah, I'm still writing my own science fiction novels. Problem is that I never had the patience to really finish any of them. So each of them only has a few chapters. And I never crafted it towards the finishing line. Maybe I will. That would be a nice project for like something after my retirement, many years in the future. Well, I mean, I do, but it's nothing that you would ever publish. I mean, it's just it's a kind of patchwork. Few chapters of this, few chapters of that, and I never put together any kind of a novel or something. Yeah, that's my long-term project. And I have to admit that lately I really neglected that writing. Because, yeah, well, my late night sessions were occupied by streaming. So I was thinking about that, like saying to me, hey, guy, do less streaming and maybe use the time to continue that ideas and stuff that you had. Hey, that sounds weird. Yep. Yeah, the scenarios of what I was doing in terms of science fiction was more like imagining what you could actually reach with our today's technology. So, not assuming that, yeah, some kind of magic is gonna happen, but just assume what could you reach with nowadays technology if people would take more risks. And of course, also nowadays it would be technology-wise possible to like set up space stations around Jupiter or put up mining colonies on Mars. It's all possible. It's just a matter of, yeah, investing money and taking risks. And if you consider what kind of risks people like Christopher Columbus, when he went to the US first, America discovered America when he first did it, what enormous risks he did take. So traveling to Mars nowadays would be a very safe voyage if you compare it to the risks that they took back then in 1490, what was it, 1494 or something, when they went over from Europe. to the West Indies. Yeah, however, I have to admit that it's quite some time ago since... Was it 1494? Yeah, I think you're right. So I have to admit that it's quite some time ago that I last wrote or continued my stories. But I still have some things in the back of my mind. 92? 94? Somebody has to Google it. I have to admit I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it was actually when the Spaniards were victorious about the Moors, and when the Spanish crown had some money left. So no warfare again against the Moors anymore. So they could put their money into other projects like the discovery of a way to India.
Unseren Mut zu testen, Männer.
Okay, it's 92. Yeah, I wasn't. It's a bit embarrassing. I wasn't sure actually. I was sure that it was something like the early 1490s, but I couldn't have told which year exactly. I have to admit. Yeah, the amount of water is slowly increasing in the bilge. Water seeping in, no critical leak or something, just water seeping in as long as we are that far down here. So, allow me to be AFK for 1 more minute. Alright, back again. Thanks for your patience. Hey, yeah, end of the Reconquistada. Yeah, that was it. So it was, yeah, pretty bold or lightheaded to not pause the game while it was AFK. Could have turned out to be pretty problematic, but obviously we are getting away. They're not dropping at us anymore. Yeah, actually that was referred to the end of the Middle Ages, yeah. The medieval age, yeah. Yeah, there are other influences to be said. I'm not a historian, not an expert at all, but what I hear or read what people say is, oh, well, there, okay. So I was pretty lucky without changing course that I didn't get hit by them. In such a situation, if you go AFK, you should really pause the game. But so, yeah, I'm glad to hear that you took good care of the boat while I was away from the bridge. Very nice. How much water do we have? Yeah, it's alright. It is alright, not critical. Yeah, the number of watches is really going down by now. So it's pretty late, and I would have expected that we might get a few more people into the stream from the US and from Canada that late, but well, at the moment the overall number of people having been in the stream is pretty low. But on the other hand, I think I could be pretty happy that there were these few people who were in the stream were pretty constantly in. So glad to have you guys. By the way, I just see that we have 3 watches on YouTube just as well. And at that point, one more excuse towards you guys watching on YouTube. I just do it en passant, like the French guys would say, or the chess players would say. I just do it en passant, like I have the possibility to do that additional dual stream, but the quality is pretty poor, so excuse me guys on YouTube for that small window that you see. And yeah, if you want to watch it in a full scale, I'm sorry to say, but you have to switch to Twitch and watch me there. But nevertheless, nice to have you in. I think there is much more of a kind of chatting community. Or chatting philosophy on Twitch than on YouTube, I guess. Yeah, however, let's get back to the game. It's already 3:20. I have to get to bed soon, but I just would like to give this some nice finish. Yeah, we are pretty deep, so this is, and we don't get any upgrades from food, so we are having a deterioration of discipline. Of course, when we are that deep, the crew is kind of scared. And we are almost down to 50% of oxygen. Give it a save, by the way.
Zeit, unsere Crew zu testen, Männer.
It's getting closer, isn't it? Not quite sure. Yeah, now they are moving away again. Yeah, it looks like we are getting away. Pretty much looks like we are getting away with that. Yeah, we have sunk an enormously large tanker. And here we are.
Tauchen auf 100 Meter. Ich benötige Ihre Unterstützung. Folgen Sie mir.
Verstanden, Kommandant.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Zu Befehl, Herr Kommandant.
Come on, guys, let's step away from battle stations.
110 Meter.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Natürlich, Herr Kaloy. Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Turn on the gyro compass again.
Schleichfahrt beenden.
Aktuelle Tiefe 105 Meter.
They're getting close again.
Meter.
Do we get any signal? Yeah, the wind, the weather has improved up there. It's only 9 knots. So maybe we can spot something.
Ja?
So they are pretty far away. Something like 2 miles. Time is...
Kurs auf diese
No,
Koordinaten
no.
setzen. Aktuelle Tiefe 95 Meter. Meter. Kurs setzen. Tauchen auf 50 Meter. Meter.
Yeah, let's get back to the surface step by step.
Meter. 45 Meter. Herr Kaloin, wir wurden entdeckt.
Zeit, unseren Mut zu testen, Männer.
Uhr 1 geladen.
Shit, they're coming in again.
50 Meter.
Tauchen auf. 120 Meter.
Guys, alarm.
Auf Gefechtsstation.
Silent run.
Lasst uns einige Schiffe versenken.
Schleichfahrt.
They spotted us again. They did.
Aktuelle Tiefe 55 Meter.
Let's do that cinematic view for now. Okay, the convoy is far behind. Okay, but there is still one ship chasing us. I really wonder if I could sink that guy with a stern torpedo. Sound sinking torpedo, but no. Oh, that guy is really going after us. Hey. Okay. Interesting. They're all asleep.
100 Meter.
Yeah, but there is still a lot of active escorts. Alright, so guys, I'm gonna consider how to deal with this situation tomorrow night. So it is pretty intriguing to get back there and sink more of these guys. We could do that, but not tonight. Yeah, it's so late. 3 o'clock, 30 minutes past 3:30. So, guys, thank you very much for joining the stream. And it was a pleasure, weight loss, to have you in. Black Fox, always a pleasure. Aqua icing, yeah, that's wonderful. So, Black Fox, you still have a bit more of the evening in front of you in comparison to us, like Aqua icing and me. We urgently have to head to bed right now. And yeah, I'm gonna continue this one tomorrow night and would be happy to have you as my guest. See you guys and have a good night. Bye bye.